that would be pretty amazing.
Well, I'll go along with that theme and say instead of a field of rock pens, how about just a field of rocks?
Yeah, I suppose
that
some
doesn't
people might find that amazing.
That doesn't seem to lighten your heart the way it does mine.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a sponge encrusting a rock. First I thought it was eggs, but... Whoa. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, we were looking at that earlier. It had the chimneys that were coming out of it. Thank you. At first I thought there was a pile of eggs or something on the substrate in front. It almost looked like, if you look at the rock at the upper right corner, Pilot, I got a sense of like, I know they're not chimneys here, but that...
No, I know, but
they were stacked up, weren't they?
Had a spire sense to it.
Right.
It almost looks like, it looks chimney-ish.
Could I call it a fumarole, or will people not like that?
I don't think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
You know, we do get these features, at least sub-aerially, when we have big lava lakes, and the crust, or the outer surface skims over and crust, but there's still liquid lava or liquid magma beneath it, and sometimes it breaks through from the pressure, and it forms these volcanic spires that we call tuyas.
Okay.
And so it almost looks reminiscent of that, except we don't have the same type of viscosity. We don't have the liquid nature that we do on subaerial eruptions here, so we don't really expect to see those features.
Hey, is this a feature that... Is this you?
Yeah.
No, this is the holes.
Yeah.
This is the holes that Mike Vecchione was. We're just passing over. So I got to get back to that paper.
Not too disturbed. Oh, but there's some more in the foreground, I think, too.
So, Mike Vecchione wrote a paper, numerous sublinear sets of holes in sediment on the northern mid-Atlantic ridge point to knowledge gaps.
And so here are these holes. There's a holothurian at the end of them.
Is there?
Isn't that?
Sorry, over there. Yeah. Sorry, I was looking directly at the end.
No. But definitely,
So I don't know that he had any crossing. Maybe he did. Oh, yeah, he does, actually. Huh, how about that?
So we found footsteps.
Now, Tara's got the right idea. She says a field of rocks covered in rock pens.
There you go.
We'll all be happy. All right. Maybe I should look at the...
And so we're about...
abstract here.
We're almost at the summit of this feature. We're undergoing an ROV shift change right now. We're probably just less than 20 meters distance over ground to the top, with maybe about just 5 meters of vertical relief. And we're currently looking at these little holes, pukas, we call them in Hawaiian, these little holes on a linear ridge. Oh,
is that Mike?
Hello, Okeanos.
Yeah, Mike. Here's your opportunity.
I just turned on my computer.
Good timing.
I don't know if you've seen these before, but these are exactly what I was asking about.
Yeah, no, this is the first, Mike, and we're very close to the top of this feature, which is kind of interesting.
Okay. We've got no idea what makes these things. That we don't even know if they're made by something underneath the surface, making a tunnel, occasionally punching up a hole, or if they're made by something walking along the surface and punching down through the sediment. It's a mystery, basically.
Yeah, they're really regular.
Solve it. So,
they're really regular, and I think we just saw what? Yeah, we saw at least 4 or 5 different
crossing
lines of them. Yeah, we're just doing a pilot change, Mike, and so
if you see any indication. Okay.
Yeah, and when the pilots are settled, we'll look back.
What's making them? That would be a good thing.
Yeah, to the right, we're looking at these lines of holes in the sediment, and we want to see if there's anything sticking out of any of those holes. That's too bad. Okay, so we may have passed them.
But maybe it's hard to see if there's...
I wouldn't be surprised if you see more of them.
Yeah,
so let's just keep going upslope. I'm not sure if this is one or if that's a feeding trace.
Yeah.
You see the lighter colored part of the sand head through the sediment there? Let's head towards that, pilot. Thank you.
And if you look in close, it's pretty easy to tell which ones are fresh and which ones have been sitting for a long time because they fill in with phytodetritus and things like that.
Yeah, the ones we just saw previously look pretty fresh in terms of they look like well-defined kind of cookie cutter holes, round cookie cutter holes through it.
Yeah, I see one up in the distance now.
Yeah.
One line of them. So, first of all, I'm pleased that you found some.
Yeah.
And because you're in the same general geographic area that we found them before.
Yeah, I think we're a bit deeper.
Of similar things. Yeah, we don't know the extent of these. We don't know what the geographic extent is or the depth extent of them is. But when you come across them, you come across lots of them. So something is very actively doing this.
Yeah.
Just wish I knew what it was.
Yeah, I mean, as we're coming up on this one, there's a furrow. I can't tell that this is the same sort of set of holes or if it's just more like a feeding trace of one of these sea cucumbers. But if this is one, this I would say is one of the older ones. It looks like it's infilled.
Yeah, if you look closely, I think you'll find there's very regularly spaced holes there, oblong holes.
Yep. That's what this looks like at the farther end, Mike, going up towards the left.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess the only chance of seeing, something making it is if you come across a fairly recent one and see something poking its head up or something.
Yep. Stand by, Mike.
Making it.
I need to give the pilot direction. Okay. So go ahead and zoom in, pilot. So you can see this sort of lineation. Looks like a track going across the screen from lower right to upper left. Let's zoom in on the upper left part of it. Yeah, because I think we're going to see it more easily from this angle. This may be kind of sort of what we're looking for, but an older one. And Mike, I'm sure, just so you know, for context, we're waiting for a ship move before we can move forward to look for more.
That's fine. I understand. Like I said, I literally just turned on the computer and saw them.
So these do look like kind of elongated pits to me.
That there are, these similar things show up in the fossil record as well. And the paleontologists were quite interested when I submitted that paper because they'd like to know what's making these things too.
I can definitely see towards the lower right. That's definitely a hole. So I would say this is an older set of these holes. Okay, pilot, that's good. We're going to hope to see some more of these tracks as we go towards the top.
Yeah, this one is fairly filled in. I think I said everything I can say about these things.
Okay.
I'm just going to shut up for a while and watch as you cruise around.
Ken Sulak is offering his wild speculation that chimeras, I think they're sometimes called rabbitfish, cruise slowly using their electrosensors to detect their prey. They have parrot-like beaks and are equipped to crush mollusks and other shelled inverts. Chimeras descend to the bottom when such prey is detected. I can imagine a chimera feeding on a linear track, periodically munching detected shelled benthic invertebrates. So the question I posed to him is, well, how deep a hole would they make? Because those did seem pretty deep holes, what I saw in your paper.
Yeah, when you zoom in, they do look fairly deep, and they're also very regular.
Yeah.
It's not like they find something and probe for it. It's like something coming along. Either if something at the surface is doing it, it's probing down very regularly as it goes along the line. But the other alternative is it's something subsurface. It's, in fauna, they're that's making a tunnel and periodically punching up to the surface. But we literally have no idea what kind of organism does that.
Pilot, upper right corner, I think I see another line moving off to the upper right.
It is remarkable when you come across these, come across one. Yeah, there's a line straight ahead now.
Those look more well-defined, the ones we're coming up to now.
Yes, they do. You can see they're little volcanic mounds, right? There, I used it again.
There you go.
Thank you.
We found the world's smallest volcanoes.
And a whole chain of them.
No, that's really odd.
Yep.
Well, I would be satisfied if it turned out to be something geological happening, but
No, yeah.
I think it is. I think it's biological.
Yeah.
So, Pilot, if you could run over these, doing as close a close-up as you could, that'd be great. And if you could have the lasers on, that'd be good as well. Thank you.
The paleontologists were pretty convinced that it's something subsurface that's doing this, because when they excavate or when they see the fossils that are similar to this, they're all connected subsurface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. So let's zoom in from here at the ones closest to us.
I'm going to mute my phone for a while.
Okay.
So you don't have to listen to my dog bark.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
I could see with the total diameter, including the sediment, which looks to me like it's been dug from subsurface, is just under 10 centimeters or about 10 centimeters. There we go. You can see what Mike means. They're elongated holes. They're not perfectly round. They're elongate.
But that looks like definitely a deep hole.
Yep. So Ken Sulak had said that the chimeras have powerful jaws that project ventrally, so below the head, and are probably incorporate suction as well. So he could see them making these kind of holes, and he says skates do something similar. Pilot, just to confirm, so we're waiting for you to have enough tether to move along this, is that correct? Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Well, actually, I think what I'd like you to do is move over it and then tilt more down so we can look more into the hole. Yep. Thanks. I don't think it's going to happen, but what we're curious about is, can we see anything in a hole that might tell us that's making the hole? Let's see. New hypothesis. Les Watling says, my guess is the linear holes are made by a burrowing crustacean. These are the periodic vents, meaning a crustacean that's burrowing subsurface and then every once in a while creates an opening to the surface, I believe is what he's saying. Axiid shrimp make burrow holes of this type. It's really great to get all these experts together, help them figure out what this is. But it is peculiar to have the holes in such a straight line. Yeah, unless...
And the regularity of the spacing.
Very regular, and we've seen several of them, and, Mike's published on them. They're always these very long, straight lines. I mean, the lines may be curving, but it's clearly in a regular row.
The holes themselves have some elongation, like almost... Yeah, see, it's hard to tell if it's from the tilt but it almost looks like they're not cylindrical.
It's not like the sprockets of some kind of a wheel of a trawl, right? Nobody's going to be trawling way down here.
I mean, that's
does look like sprockets.
Yeah, that looks rectangular to me.
Yeah. Very, very rectangular. And pretty deep. They're almost blade-like instead of
that
rectangle.
Well, yeah, that one's blade. Like the one before that was rectangular more.
Okay.
It seems like they have some.
Do you have the lasers on?
Yeah, we did when we first got here, Mike.
Okay.
The lasers showed that the mounds that you see were 10 centimeters across. And so the whole...
We can turn the laser. Can we turn the lasers back on?
I think they're still on. It's just we're
out of
zoomed
view.
in so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look how...
That's the fresh one that you're looking at right now.
Yeah, look how...
And I just had to guess at the size because our lasers weren't working on the Norwegian ROV when we came across it before.
All right, well, here are the lasers, and yeah, those are much more rectangular than I assumed.
Yeah, that's a very fresh track there.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean, looking in the hole, it looks like something just punched it.
Well...
It looks like a big wheel to me. I mean, except that there's no continuity from one to the next.
It looks fresh, so when in doubt, go to the beginning of it and go to the end of it.
Yeah. I think the closer one is the fresher part.
The fresh part.
Look, they're infilled over there,
yeah.
So I think we're at the freshest end.
You could just zoom down as much as possible into
I think
the hole at the end.
I think we did that on that first hole, Mike.
Okay. We tried that before and didn't see anything.
Yep.
I love a mystery, but I'd like to have an answer.
Now, I think let's move on for our last few minutes here.
Yeah, I feel like let's just get to the top so we can say we made it.
Yep. So we can see that spectacular stuff that we won't be able to collect.
If you see anything messing around with one of these lines, if you see anything messing around with one of these lines, then that might be an indication of what's doing it.
Yeah.
As you survey along. It's sort of like the trenches that have been ascribed to feeding activity of beaked whales. Nobody's actually seen a beaked whale make one of those trenches.
Right.
It's just based on measurements. And so it would be nice to actually know for sure what's happening. All right, I'm going back on mute again.